Hey everybody, welcome to Prime Joe Time, Spare Bedroom Studios. Today with me I have Anthony Zorzetto. He's here to talk about his company that he has. It's really interesting. It's called, let me get this right, Possible Principal Academy.
Yes,
He
sir.
actually has the shirt that's sponsoring it on right now. We met at the gym a few years ago. We got deep into conversation about addictions and recovery. It was a really awesome conversation. I just like to dig in today and just learn about how everything got started for you and how'd you get into this?
Sure, man. Thanks for having me, first of all. So first of all, I got into this business because I am sober. So uh, the whole caption, "It's possible," is actually the Roger Bannister effect. Have you ever heard of? Do you know who
No.
that is? He's the first guy to run a sub 4 minute mile. So before that time, everyone thought it was impossible. Like your body would just shut down. You wouldn't be able to do it. We humanly just couldn't do it. Our anatomy wouldn't let us. So when he ended up doing it, like 13 people did it the year after. So the whole point of that is when you see that it's possible, you're more likely to try and you're way more likely to do it, right? If you know it's possible, then it's worth it to try, right? So back in the day when I was in active addiction, for example, I was laying down in a ravine and I was looking up at the moon. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm way more likely to jump to the moon than to become sober. And I always thought about that. Like when I finally did become sober, I'm like, I got to talk to other people about this because I know there's millions of people out there that think that it's literally impossible for them to do it. Right. But if they see me or they see somebody else, just like I saw some other people do it, then they realize that it is possible and then they are worth it and it's worth it to give it a shot. A lot of guys just mail it home and just say, fuck it, I'm way too far into this addiction. I'm not going to be able to make it out of this. So like, what's the point? Right. But you see somebody do it, then you're like, you know what? Maybe I can do that too.
Yeah. So you said you were laying in a ravine?
Yeah. I was laying in a ravine. Yeah. I had a condo. Well, when I was 19 years old, I bought a condo. First one in my family, like out of all the kids to buy a place. And I was super proud of it. And it backed onto this ravine that had it was like a man-made lake and a bunch of big trees and stuff. It was super beautiful. And I bought it for that reason because it backed onto this thing. And I got so far down into my addiction, which is a super long story I'm sure we're going to get into, but I ended up actually living inside of that ravine, like in a tent. And I had like a minus 50-degree baffin onesie that I would sleep in. And yeah, I lived in there for almost a year. And I would look up at that moon all the time or the stars or whatever and just be like, what the hell? Like, how did I get here?
Yeah. How did you get there? What started this all? Was there like a point in life that you remember what was like a trigger for this or?
So mostly I started just like most people did, just baby steps. So I started smoking weed when I was in high school. Here and there, I wasn't like a stoner. I just kind of did it here and there. And quite frankly, I didn't like it. It gave me a lot of anxiety. So I hear a lot of people smoking weed to calm their nerves. It did the exact opposite for me. I would freak out. Whether it was sativa or indica, it didn't matter to me. I was just like, I hated it. But I did it because all my buddies were doing it and I wanted to fit in, all that kind of stuff. And then um, grade 9, started drinking, binge drinking, just like everybody else. Started doing weekend warrior stuff, like just getting blackout on the weekends. I knew I had an issue with it right away, with drinking, that is, because I couldn't drink just a little bit. I had to just drink till I blacked out. But everyone was doing it, so I didn't really notice. Um, Kind of fast forward to my 20s, I was still doing that. I was still blacking out every weekend or every time I drank. I couldn't just have one or two. Um, and I lived with these two guys, Tanner and Dane, and we lived together on the west side. We all worked at the bar. So, like I said, I knew I had an issue. So instead of going to the bar to drink, I always wanted to get to the bar because I was very social, very extroverted type person. So I'm like, I'm going to work at the bar because I'm spending like $500 a night blacking out at the bar, cabs, all this other stuff, shots for people I don't know, girls, whatever. So I decided to get a bar job, and then I could still get my extroverted things out of the way, talk to people, and then I would never drink at work. So I kind of like handicapped myself into not drinking because I didn't want to break the rules. So um, all three of us would work at the bar. We had a great time. It was unreal. Some of the best times of my life, honestly. And then it started to turn into something different. I call it in my program, I call it the dam broke. So alcohol for me turned into something different. The river was flowing. When the dam breaks, you can't just build the dam back. It's over now. The river, you're not going to stop that thing to rebuild that dam. So it just turned into something else. And I started to use alcohol to just feel better as opposed to just celebrating or whatever. It's the weekend. This is what you do. I wanted to just feel better about my life, feel better about where I was going. I had a company back in the day. Before that, I worked at Clark Builders and made my way up to foreman. I was the youngest foreman in the company. The part I was in charge of, it was a $300 million building, and I was in charge of the interior. So it's pretty gangster for like a 21, 22-year-old.
That's wild.
So I knew my shit. I was really good at it, but I wanted to start my own business. The ego wanted to start my own business. I had lots to learn still, and I refused to stop.
So I have a question here. So you said you were trying to escape something or get a good feeling. What when your life wasn't going right? Sounds like you were doing really well, man.
That's the thing, is that it's not necessarily running away from things. It's just I was good at, but I wanted to feel great. I was greedy with my feelings and greedy with my emotions. So there's this common theme that people who have addictions, they're running from trauma. And that is true. It always turns into trauma because of the addiction itself. There's consequences to an addiction. But a lot of guys just get carried away because they want to go from good to great. You're at the party, you go to the bar, you don't want to stop, you go to the after party, like what's next? Let's keep going, right? So it's not necessarily a trauma. I just wanted to feel 10 out of 10 at all times. So it's kind of just like a selfish feeling.
Well, and when people are doing something, like you see a bunch of guys like locked in the bathroom or whatever, you're like, oh, I want to know what's going on in there. You want to be part of the group, part of the conversation.
100%. And I honestly, I didn't know what I didn't see cocaine until I was 22. And working all these years at a bar, I can't believe I didn't run into it. And I was such an idiot. I'm like, I was a bouncer and a bartender and stuff, and I would see the same guy go into the bathroom like 10 times in a night. I'm like, it must not feel good. Like I didn't know. I had no idea. And the first time I saw it, I saw all my friends doing it, and they had their shit together, right? It was like a new friend group from the job that I had. Like they have their shit together, they're doing well, and they have a house and a car and a wife and whatever. It can't be that bad. Back in the day in high school and junior high, the DARE program made it seem like if you did, one hoot of a joint, you were going to die, right? Or if you did a little bit of cocaine, you're just going to instantly get addicted and fucking pass away.
Like those commercials, your brain melts.
Like, yeah. It's like, it wasn't like that, clearly. So I saw it a couple of times. I'm like, I'm not going to do it. Burnouts and losers do it. But, I see my buddies doing it. Like, they're obviously okay. But I'm like, whatever. They're going to do their thing. I'm not going to do it. And I withheld for a really long time. And one day I went to this party called the Full Moon Party at West Edmonton Mall. It was at Edmonton Event Center. And it was a full moon theme. And we went to this after party with a couple buddies that I knew, one of which I really looked up to. And we went to this guy's house, and he had a gated community. He was like, I don't know, 30. He had a fur coat on. He had a Dodge Viper in his garage, and he was starting it, revving it up. It was sick. There's all these like 10 out of 10 girls, like super hot chicks there. And I'm like, man, what do you do for work? Like, this is unbelievable. And he's like, I'm like in the oil. Well, I'm like, oh yeah. You're not in fucking oil, dude. I know what those guys look like. You don't look like that guy. So finally, we get downstairs. There's Scarface posters everywhere. All these girls are down there doing coke. There's like probably about an ounce of coke on top of this bar top. And it was on a mirror, and it made it look, it was like a movie. Everything about it was just sexy. It was just like unbelievable.
You say an ounce, like, is that considerably a lot in the cocaine world? Like,
that's a lot. That's a lot. Like you're going to do some pretty decent time if you get caught with an ounce.
Okay.
But also, like, if you're using personally, you're probably going to do at most in one night on average, like someone who's really going off is probably about 3 grams. So
and an ounce is like what, 28 grams?
28 grams in an ounce. So this thing was like a big pile to me, and people were doing it. I'm like, fuck it. I was like, I'll give it a shot. So I went up to it. I asked this girl how to do it, and she's like, oh, you're so cute. That's so funny. And I was like, no, seriously, how do you do this? She's like, you just close one nose and you do it. So I did it, and it went up my face, and I was like, fuck. this is unbelievable.
That's how you felt? Was
I
it
felt,
just like,
yeah, I'm like, this is unbelievable. I wasn't like, you know what? I was actually like, I was like, I'm in trouble because I want more. Whatever this is, I want to keep this going. I was fixated on it. And that, again, that was just like every weekend. I just started doing it every weekend with these friends because these guys have all their shit together. This guy's rich. You know, obviously he's a drug dealer, but he's rich. All my buddies are doing it. They have good jobs, like whatever. So I just kept doing it. And then it turned from, you know, Friday nights and then every second Friday night. And then I went to like every Friday, and then I went to Friday, Saturday, and then I went to Friday, Saturday, Wednesday. And now I'm calling in sick for work, and now I'm starting to lose a little bit of weight, and now I can't wait for the weekend. And now it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then, you know, simultaneously I started my first company, and I realized that I was good at performing the job, but I wasn't good at the project management estimation job. And I used to be a bit of a pussy. Like I would have a tough time collecting the last check. So I'd be like, someone would give me some sob story, like, oh, I need another 30 days because my grandma's sick or whatever. But we're in Canada, it's fucking free. So whatever, I would just be like, okay, no worries, take your time. And then meanwhile, my subtrades need to get paid, my suppliers need to get paid, my guys need to get paid.
yeah.
And I'm like over leveraged. I'm taking out loans on a credit card. I'm taking out line of credit. I'm super leveraged, like way over my head. People aren't paying me. I'm stressed out. And I got married pretty young, 21, I think. And, you know, she's not getting the life that I promised. And, you know, she's getting frustrated. And why can't we go on this vacation? Why can't we do this? And I just all started to like build up on me and just add and add and add and add. And
So now this went from affecting just like your time, your personal life, and your work life, your business. And this is just from being like preoccupied, spending all your time just pursuing a great feeling, just wanting to feel awesome.
yeah, exactly. So this feeling was in the back of my head. Like, I know this one thing I can do to make me feel great. It's just kind of in the back of my head. And then all this shit started to build up, losing my company. So now I have to file bankruptcy for my company. My wife wants to leave, and she slowly started to get her, I won't say exactly, but she started to get her demons. And that started to escalate, and then we're fighting, and clients are calling me, why isn't this done? And it's just a nightmare. Now the bank is calling me, yo, you're behind on your mortgage. What's going on?
Just let the phone ring and pretend it's not there.
Yeah,
Party.
100%. Like I was getting these scary letters, and it was like, hey, you're like 4 months behind on your mortgage. Like we have to escalate this. And then escalate this. That I got to the point where I would take my mail and I would just throw it in the garbage because I didn't want to look at it. Like I would just throw it in the garbage. I was just like an ostrich, man. I would just bury my head in the sand. And I just didn't know what to do. And I was super stubborn, wasn't able to ask for help. I was obviously able to ask for help, but at the time I didn't think I could. So then I just said, fuck it. Like all this stuff is coming down. I'm going to start doing drugs because I want to feel better. Right. And I didn't have this, like, you know, I made it seem like I sat there and I'm like, what can I do? I'm going to do drugs. It wasn't like that. It was just this like organic, well, I feel stressed out. I'm going to get a 6-pack. I get a 6-pack, you know, you drink one beer, the dealer's on his way, you know? Right. So now the dealer's on his way, and now I'm doing drugs, and now it's like, fuck, I'm doing cocaine every single day just to feel better. And now I'm coming down off cocaine. It feels like I'm in hell. So what do I do to make myself feel better? More cocaine.
Were you doing this alone? Was this in like groups of people, or did you have buddies you'd meet up with?
It started off that way. It started off with buddies. Like I said before, it was like weekends and we're out at the club partying just like everybody else did, kind of a deal. And then it started to turn into, you know, if you have 10 friends, like, and 8 of them do a couple bumps here and there on the weekend or party on the weekend or whatever. And then you start doing Wednesdays and Fridays and Saturdays, your friend group is smaller because not everyone wants to participate in that, right? And then it comes even smaller when you do it every day. And then before you know it, you're the guy who's the bad influence. You're the guy that, you know, if you're out with your wife, or if your wife calls you while you're out, he'll list off who's there, but he'll skip me. Because if Anthony's there, it's trouble. You know what I mean? So now I'm by myself. So I started to escape in any way that I could. And that was just drugs and alcohol. That was it. So I started doing it by myself in my condo. knowing that any moment that the bailiff was going to kick the door in and take my house away. So I would sit there and I would do 4 grams a day. I did 4 grams a day every day for 9 months.
Wow.
At my worst.
And this is kind of like when did you like figure that you were to hit, what can quote unquote hit rock bottom? Like, was this prolonged after this for a year or so? This was the 9-month period. And you're
Yeah.
like, this is when you were in the ravine at this point. You're like, yo, I got to change this.
No, that was way lower. I kept thinking that I was at rock bottom. I thought rock bottom was like me not getting paid from a job. I'm like, this is it, man. Like I'm going to have to go get a job again. Like I thought that was rock bottom. And then I kept finding basements and basements and basements and basements. One time that I really distinctly remember was I was sitting in the kitchen of my house in my condo, and I had cocaine on the island. And I'm like, hey, I don't really feel like doing this anymore, but like it's here. I thought, you know what? And maybe I won't do it. Like if I can just sit here and not do it and just try to stay busy, like maybe I'll have a shot at trying to get sober or like just being done with this life. And I'm going to go get a job. I'm going to get my finances in order. Yeah, that was like 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then I looked at it, I'm like, fuck it. And I just did it. And then in that moment, I'm like, I'm at the point of no return. I'm not going to be able to get sober.
So you were kind of emotionally wrestling in your mind, like you want to do it, but you don't. And you're like, you can't find an escape.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult. And then plus with the influence of it there, you're not going to be able to stop if you're always around it. Like you need to get away.
Well, exactly. Like if you hang out at the barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut, right? That's like, if you hang out with 5 people that do cocaine, you're going to be the 6th. Just how it goes. And I lost all those guys and I started doing it by myself. And I got to that point where I'm like, I'm helpless. I felt worthless. I can't figure this out. I went from 200 pounds down to 147 in like 9 months, like just like gone. I wasn't eating. My teeth hurt so bad from the drips. Like my teeth were so bad. All I could eat was ice cream. So I would go to the 7-Eleven and just get I had like change from my pocket or whatever. And I would just get ice cream because it was okay on my teeth. And then the rest of the money would go to the drug dealer so I could do coke. And I got to the point where I didn't want to live anymore. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm not going to get sober. I was too proud to go to my family. My family didn't know what the fuck was going on. I had colitis, but that was from the cocaine. So they just thought I was sick. And I wasn't showing up to family gatherings, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Sunday dinner, all that stuff. Like my family was super normal. My family, my parents divorced when I was in grade 6, like summer of grade 5 going into grade 6. I mean, so that's a little bit of something, but not going to make you go become a drug addict and stuff. So like my loving dad, loving mom, everything. I had it all. It was great. But yeah, I just did this. I made a mistake and I tried this thing and I didn't realize I had the predisposition for addiction.
What would that be? Sorry. What's the predisposition?
Well, family history. Yeah,
Okay.
It's definitely genetic. Some people are allergic to peanut butter.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are allergic to penicillin. Some people are allergic to alcohol. And that's me. I'm allergic to alcohol. My buddy has a saying that I'm allergic to alcohol, and when I drink, I break out in cocaine. That's just like, that's just a fact. If you have a bottle of beer and you drink the neck, like drug dealer's on his way. You know, that's how it goes. So I had, without getting too specific, I had some family members that struggled with addiction. So not to blame them, but obviously it just runs in the family, and you know, you can look it up till you're blue in the face. It's just scientifically proven that it runs in the family. It's hereditary. And it can bite you. And if, you know, addiction is a disease, but using is a choice. So if you make that choice to try, you're playing with fire. You don't know if you have addiction in your family, right?
Yeah. So like what steps did you start to take to like turn this around? Like what did you do? Did you get help? Did you go see a therapist?
Man, so I'm Catholic, and honestly, God sent me an angel, straight up. That's the only way I can put it. There's a guy who I actually no longer talk to. We can get into that later, but he saw me one day, and he knew me from before. So he knew me at like 200 pounds, kind of worked out bodybuilder style. I was jacked back then. And he saw me one day, and he's like, dude, did you lose like 50 pounds? What the fuck happened? And for whatever reason, I was on day 3 of no cocaine, not because I was trying to get sober, because I ran out of money. And I was like stealing food from Save On and all these different places just to eat and survive. And at this point, the bailiff came, bang, took my house away, took my truck away. I had nowhere to stay. Again, I could have stayed at my parents, but I just was too proud. So I just stayed outside and just was homeless. And he saw me at the 7-Eleven and he's like, "Are you looking for work? Like, you look bad." And I'm like, "Yeah, actually I am." I don't know why I told him the truth, but like I said, I was 3 days no cocaine. So I kind of had my brain back. And I told him the truth. I'm like, "Hey man, I'm a drug addict and I don't know what to do. And I need money. Like, I don't know what to do." And he's like, "Well, you're a carpenter. So I need some baseboards installed at this job. Come do baseboards. I'll pay you cash. And like, you can have some income." So, he hired me. I did some baseboards for him. Super easy for me. He had all the tools anyways. He gave me some cash. Went home. Bought Coke with it, of course. And then we just kept doing that for a while. And he thought I still lived in that condo. So what I would do is I would cross the street. I lived on the main floor, and I would make it look like I was just leaving the house, and I would jump over the fence and get into his car. And one day he caught me, I got there early, so I crossed over the road, and then I jumped over and went into his car. And he's like, "Man, are you fucking staying outside, dude?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't have anywhere to stay." So he took me in. So this guy Dan, this other guy Chris, took me into his house, and I started to just tell the truth, which I wasn't used to, because as an addict, you have to lie about everything. You have to lie about how you're doing. You have to lie about where you got your money. You have to lie about, did you steal that food? Like, no, I didn't fucking, like you have to lie about everything. But I felt good when I started telling the truth. So I told them when I got there, like, "Listen, I'm going to tell you that I need to leave this house to go do X, Y, Z. I'm lying to you. I'm going to find drugs." And at that time, I had no sobriety IQ. I didn't know where to go, where not to go, all that kind of stuff. So I thought I could still drink. But me knowing that if I drink, I'm going to do cocaine, when we would go out, like, so again, they took me in, but we'd still go to like brew house and all that kind of stuff. And I would just give them my phone and I'd give them my credit card and my debit card, like there was anything in there anyways. But anyways, I said, "If I leave this place for a bit, if you can't find me for a bit, I'm getting drugs. Like, you have to come try to find me." And they were super receptive of it. Of course they got annoyed a bunch of times because I pulled the wool over their eyes multiple times, because we're sneaky, man. Like, addicts are fucking sneaky. We'll get our shit. And they caught me doing drugs or whatever, and they just kept giving me chances and seeing that I was getting better. But also, as I got better and started to get my brain back, I was the hardest worker in the room. I really was, and I am now. Like, on the job site, no matter, I don't care who you are, I'll outwork you. That was my thing. And as I started to get my brain back, they started to see that, and they started to see my potential. So they just stuck it out with me. And as I got more and more sober, I was able to make better decisions and things like that. And then I kept a journal. So I would write in my journal every day. Like, no one really knows this, but I would write. I've talked about it on podcasts before, but I would write a journal like every day. And that's actually the tasks in my program that I give to people are based off of my journal entries. So I tried to do AA. I didn't like it. I tried multiple different types of AA, or not different types, but different meetings. Because I'm like, maybe I just don't like this meeting. It didn't sit well with me. I don't know. I just didn't like it. It's not a one size fits all, right? I love AA. It's actually a prerequisite for my program. If you haven't tried AA, I won't work with you. You have to try it first. If you don't like it, come to me. AA is free and available. I'll never talk down on it. But I just started to realize where I was going and where I can't go and shouldn't go, and how my brain works. I really looked inward. I'm like, why did I start using? Why did I try to escape? What did I do to create this consequence that I wanted to escape? I made everything my fault. And when I made everything my fault, I was able to work on it.
You took accountability. Did you ever answer those questions?
Which ones?
Like, why and like...
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever find out if you have like ADHD or like OCD or...
OCD, no. ADHD, definitely.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I was doing some research into this. I was like kind of researching different programs and like there's different rehab programs. I had a friend who was actually from high school. He was on the intervention show,
Yeah.
and it was sad to see like he's now passed away. I don't want to name names or anything,
Sure.
but I really started researching, and a lot of the people actually have undiagnosed like mental health concerns. They
Yeah.
don't know, and they're trying to actually self-medicate.
Yeah.
And that's when people like maybe you're supposed to be on some type of medication, or not saying medication is the answer, but they need to do something. That's why you said like when you get to work, like you work, like you're probably hyper focused.
Yeah.
So you didn't go into a rehab program though? You did the AA, no rehab or anything?
I didn't do any rehab, but I went to AA like a few times, but AA is not what got me. It helped for sure, but that's not, I didn't follow that. So I essentially just, I did every task that I have in my program, I did for myself, and I didn't even know it. I was building this sobriety program for others, for myself, and I didn't even realize I was doing it yet. So I can't remember who said it, but if you make everything your fault, then you can look at how you can do better next time. And ADHD was definitely one of the things that I looked into. And it's true. Like I can't just fold the laundry. I got to like fold the laundry and do like 4 other side quests and then go back to folding the laundry. I can't like fixate on things that I have no interest on,
Yeah,
you know, things like that.
maybe math class or
Exactly.
Fuck.
And that's actually where my first business started failing, is like the finance part of it. I hated all that stuff. So I neglected it. And then because I neglected it, I had consequences like back taxes, CRAs up my ass. I'm not collecting the last 10%, which is all your fucking profit. So, and I don't like to have those conversations. So I would avoid them. Well, then your business is going to fail. So like that is my fault. And like I'm running away from the feelings I get from neglecting that, and I'm using drugs and alcohol. That's my fault.
yeah.
You know? So that high accountability mentality, that's what started, that was like the catalyst to get me sober.
So to get sober, like for your program, like do you want to like kind of go over your program, like how you became completely sober? Like when did you have this defining moment when you just stopped,
Yeah.
and the steps that you took exactly?
So so for me, so I'll explain my program first. So how it works is, you know, let's say you're in my program. You and I have a phone call every single day. High accountability. So every morning I'll text you a task, and you have to write your task in the journal. And the first task might be something like, why do you think you drink to excess? No wrong answer. And you have all day to think about that answer. You have a journal, old school, pen to paper, which is funny that that's old school now. But you have to write the task down, and then you write your answer long form. And then at the same time, each evening, let's say 7 p.m., you and I have a phone call, and we go over that task. And I listen to your answer, and then I put in my 2 cents. So let's say you want to drink because you want to elevate your mood. Then I take the program this way. If you're drinking to escape depression or a way you feel, then I take the program this way. And every single day there's a new task. And that task is designed to help you understand why you drink, what your triggers are, and then it's to communicate these things, understand how to deal with your triggers, and then near the end of it is like, how do I live life without the program? How do I carry on? Because I can't be there forever, right? So inside of the program as well, you have we have a men's group. It's like WhatsApp men's group. So everyone chips in about their sobriety clean time. You know, they talk about a podcast that they really like, or they had, you know, one perfect example. 2 days ago, there was a guy that went on a stag, first ever sober stag, didn't feel like doing drugs or drinking alcohol at all. He's been sober for like 4 years now. So that's a huge win. Talking about that is a huge win. And my program is designed to help you not think about drugs and alcohol, right? Like you don't want to fight. Fighting is like, imagine prime Mike Tyson. If you fight prime Mike Tyson, you're dead.
Yeah.
But if he has to fight every single day, eventually a high school kid's going to beat him because he's going to be beat up and bruised, right? So you don't want to fight to be sober. A bit at the beginning, sure. But eventually you want to make it so you don't even think about it. So there isn't even in a fight. There isn't a fight's not even on the table. My program is designed to do just that. Like rewire the subconscious to say like, not even say, just, it just doesn't exist. Alcohol is an inanimate object to you. It's like a lamp, just whatever. You know what it does, but you don't care. You know what it does to other people, but you don't care. My triggers are my responsibility. Your triggers are your responsibility. You'll be able to get to a point where you're at a networking event or a stag. Everyone's getting blackout drunk and you don't think about it. So that's the way my program is designed and executed. One thing I did like from AA is that they do tags, like they do chips. So my program, instead of doing chips, I do dog tags.
Yeah, so
like,
it's pretty cool.
Cool. It's like a little bit more masculine. It's kind of like soldier stuff. And you do XCDs, 90 days in Roman numerals. And then every year you get a gold one that says like 1Y, 2Y, 3Y, and so on. And that's just something you can wear around your neck. So if there is a white knuckle event where you're like, fuck, I want to drink, like, I don't know where this came from, you could just grab that tag and hold on to it and, you know, be like, this is why I started, you know?
That's a great reminder.
Yeah.
So how do you help people, like, because relapsing is a huge problem with drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, how did you manage not to relapse? So you said you sustained from alcohol, and I've been out with you and I remember you like, no, I don't drink.
Yeah.
I really admired that. And actually I took some tips from you, and like I recently, like I haven't smoked marijuana since like August, and I used to be like a daily smoker. So I was kind of happy I was able to kick that. And now I don't even, at first it was kind of hard.
Yeah.
But seeing you, and you kind of influenced me, like, how do you help people not relapse? Like, that's a huge problem.
That's a big one for sure. First of all, congratulations on that. That's
Thanks,
huge, man. Weed is one of those ones that people kind of laugh at.
Yeah.
Like, you're addicted to weed? What the fuck are you talking about?
I've heard that.
It's not that you're going to miss work or sell your TV for weed, but it affects people in a certain way, and you don't want to feel that way anymore, right? So it's like, it doesn't matter, man. Like, if someone feels weird turning left, like, they got to give up turning left. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. So relapse. So I've definitely relapsed. I've relapsed multiple times back in the day, because it's not okay. I don't want to encourage that it's okay, but it's just part of it, right? Like, Connor McDavid misses the net, man. Like, Michael Jordan misses the basket. You know, professional MMA fighters, they miss punches, they miss kicks. They thought they were going to block on this side, they got kicked on this side. It happens. You're not perfect. So what I do for relapse prevention is, it's called sabotaging your demons, and also knowing yourself. So, good example. If somebody who's early on to sobriety, they're going to an Oilers game, and an Oilers game is normally triggering for them, because what do you do at an Oilers game? You drink $30 beers or whatever the fuck it is now. Yeah. Just part of the culture. So instead of just going there and winging it, we develop a plan. Like, hey, you're going to be triggered. It is what it is. Be okay with that. How are you not going to drink? Well, if you're in my program, you don't want to let me down. You don't want to let the coach down. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a call on the way to the Oilers game, and we're going to set up a call on the way back from the Oilers game. Also, you're going to drive. No Uber. Don't Uber, don't cab. You're going to drive, because now, massive consequence if you drive home. Yeah. You know what I mean? And one could say like, oh man, you're setting them up for a DUI. It's like, no, we're stacking things against why you would want to drink. We're stacking up against it. We're sabotaging those demons. So that's kind of one way. The other thing you can do, I tell people, is have a buddy, right? If you're going out drinking with like 5 friends, like, you know, they're hopefully not going out drinking, but if they're going out with 5 friends and the drinking is the theme and it's encouraged and kind of necessary for the hangout, talk to them and say like, hey, I'm not drinking. I need your help. And they'll show their colors. If they're calling you a pussy, or if they're saying like, no, you have to drink. Yeah. Now they're just showing their colors, right? But to be honest with you, no one cares. People care far less than you would think. Like, oh man, I'm going to get judged for not drinking. Most people are like, yeah, cool, man, whatever. Fuck, whatever. But there's always going to be that one guy, that shit disturber, that how I was. Like, don't be a bitch, man. Let's drink. Let's get fucked up, man. Dude, if you talk to that guy one-on-one, he'll understand. But if you talk to him when he's in front of his friends and he can be a clown and like a joker, then he's going to razz you. But if you call him before the game and say like, hey man, I'm not going to drink tonight, and I would really appreciate it if you could help me out with that way, he's going to be like, yeah, no worries, dude. It's all good. So like that just preventative, like getting in front of it being proactive on it, that really helps with relapse reduction.
It's like having a spotter in the gym, man.
Exactly.
Like, oh, you're a pussy for having a spotter.
Yeah, yeah.
I might drop this on myself.
Yeah.
I need you to help.
Exactly. It's necessary, man. Everybody needs help. Everybody needs help. There's professional athletes in my program that NHL, NFL, CFL, everybody needs it, man. You can look at those guys and be like, they're the most disciplined people in the world. And they are. To be a pro athlete, you have to be disciplined AF, big time. But there's this one fucker, man, that you need help with. And it's okay. It's just necessary. You know, you can't do it on your own. It's just, I don't know a single soul who's done it on their own. And if they did, they weren't addicts. They're like, oh, I quit cold turkey. It's like, well, were you an actual addict? I don't know about that. You know,
maybe not. And that's funny you said that, because like my favorite fighter is John Jones, and we all kind of know his history, like running with the law. Like he's been known to be a party guy. I just love that he seems to be okay now, but I'm hoping he's got his stuff together. Seems to be.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's people from all walks of life, like doctors, lawyers. Like, I know you're not going to say, you kind of said you have some professionals, but you'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But people just think it's like the homeless guys downtown.
Yeah.
It's not just those people.
That's the end of the road, though.
Yeah.
That's the end of the road.
Yeah. Lots of time, right?
You play that out long enough, we're all 3 decisions away from that.
Yeah.
That's it, man. So, you know, someone who's binge drinking and it turns into every day and stuff, if you do the analogy that you're on the road, homeless crackhead on East Hastings is on the exact same road. That's how they started for the most part. It's just way down there. So like, stop driving that way, you know?
Another question. Last episode, Ryan brought up a really interesting question. And this might be something that you face. I'm not sure. You don't have to answer if you don't want, but since you run a program, like people look at you as like, we were kind of touching this earlier actually, but like you're their buddy now. Like what happens if I'm in your program, but you also have like your own life, your own family, but I need access to you? Like, do you have limits to the access to you, or you're like, hey, like anytime kind of deal, or respect my boundaries? Like,
yeah. So that's a great question. So there's a code red procedure in the program. So if you feel like you're going to drink, you call me. So this is the code red procedure. So you get that feeling. You're like, oh, fuck, I want to drink, right? You have about 15 seconds before you make your decision whether you're going to drink or not. That's just a fact. So what you're supposed to do is, let's say we're in this room. You need to leave this room. Even just walk to the kitchen, whatever. Grab your phone, walk to the kitchen, change your settings, change what you can see and what you can feel. Go for a walk. While you're going outside to go for a walk, give me a call. Call me like a crazy ex-girlfriend 15 times in a row. The only time I'm not going to answer is because I'm sparring. That's literally it. Or my daughter's sleeping on me. That's pretty much it. And then I'll, try to talk you down. And then usually you just have to get over this, like that feeling. And then you realize, all right, I don't want to drink. I just thought I did in that moment.
Yeah.
It's a permanent solution for a temporary problem, right? So, you can call me as many times as you want if you have a code red. Calling me because you had a bad day. Calling me because you feel angry about an ex-girlfriend or whatever, like that shit's all off limits. That can wait for our set time, right? People think it's easy because you're just answering phone calls all day, but it's my bandwidth and it's my 20 minutes. It's my 40 minutes. It's my time with my kids. You know what I mean? So access to me is always there 24/7 if it's an emergency. Other than that, we stick it to your allotted time. However, text messages here and there, if I like somebody in my program right now is like, give me a boost in the morning because I'm been such a pussy. I can't get to the gym. Like I keep hitting snooze. I'll give that guy a text. Yeah. Whatever, but that's kind of it. Boundaries are really important because, I've been sober quite some time now. But talking about sobriety and talking about drugs and talking about alcohol can weigh on you. And it does weigh on me. Like I can put myself in their shoes and be like, oh, like that's exactly where I was. And I never want to be there again. And we talk about that enough. Like I need a bit of a break, so if we're perpetually talking about, this bad day or this bad luck or whatever, like it gets a little much. So
How do you deal with like a difficult client? Like, what if someone's like kind of out? Is there ever been someone who's like out of your realm? You're like, hey man, like I'm gonna have to refer you go to like like a different program, or like you need to seek like a treatment center. Has that ever happened to you?
Multiple times. Yeah, multiple times. So I do a compatibility call at the very beginning.
Okay.
So I see, like, if you're using cocaine every single day, like, I'm not your guy. You're gonna have to go to a rehab. That's excessive. My program is designed. However, I have helped people like that, and I have helped people that drink a bottle every day of Jack Daniels or Jaeger or whatever. As you're starting to come down, you're starting to get that your wife is like, please stop drinking. You're starting to Google, am I an alcoholic? You're missing Mondays. Your boss is saying like, hey man, is everything okay? Like you're kind of like smelled alcohol in your breath a couple of times. Right in that moment, that's an ideal client for me in this program. Like I said, though, I've helped people who have been like way down there. So in our first initial call, I feel that out. And if I feel like it's going to be a right fit, then I'll take you on. I don't handle victim mode very well. I hate it. I can't stand it. That's what got me in big trouble. I always blamed everybody else for my issues. So that's very triggering for me, not to drink, but just to piss me off. So, however, that is very normal at the beginning. But if I feel like I can shake you out of victim mentality, I'll work with you as well. But if we're like day 50 and it's like everybody else's fault and it's even my fault, I'll fucking kick you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those I've looked into those treatment centers. Maybe some like the prices, some of them are like vary. So like I saw one was like $100,000,
Yeah.
like a month or whatever. And it's usually like a month, 2 months. Like how long does your program usually run comparable to these? Is this like you said one person was 4 years in?
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a 4-year client. That's the longest so I've been doing this for 4 years. I did it for free for multiple years before that. Wanted to get a good baseline and get some, stack of undeniable proof that I am who I say I am, But yeah, some rehab facilities are 90 days, some are a couple months, some are just open. So you just stay there until you feel like you're good to go. Yeah, they range from $100,000 to the big bougie ones to, honestly starting at about $20K. And the relapse rate is upwards of 70%. So my program's 90 days. You get to stay home, sleep in your own bed, be with your family, and it's just phone calls, right? And the reason why it works is because it's every day. That's the reason why it works. If it's once, some of these other guys, I won't mention names, but they piss me off. But some other sobriety coaches are like once a week, and they charge double what I do. So I'm $5,000 for 90 days. Okay. Some of these guys are $10,000 for 90 days, but it's one call a week. How are you going to make lasting change in that call? Like, get out of here, man.
I was a little curious about that. I wasn't going to dive into that. I wasn't sure if that's something you wanted to discuss like on your website. I was going to ask you how much it cost. Is there ever people that like, what if they can't afford your program? Do they have like access to get help like from funding or some kind of like any kind of assistance?
I'm working on that right now to get government funding.
Yeah.
The only issue that I have with that is when it's not your hard-earned cash, you're not going to try as much. In my experience, it's anecdotal, but if like the girlfriend pays for it or something like that, it's okay. When the parents, it's kind of like hit and miss. When you're trying to get into a program just to get out of trouble with your wife, it won't work with you. No. You need to want it for yourself, right? And if you're not partying with your hard-earned cash because you actually want to get better, your chances of being successful is very, very low.
Yeah, it's kind of like when I went to college, I had a roommate and I noticed that he kept going back to college every year and for the course he was taking. And then my dad's philosophy was just that.
Yeah.
You're going to pay on your own because I know you. You're going to probably not pass or graduate.
Yeah. You won't care as much because it's not like if you're trading your time for cash, for money, like a paycheck, like we all do, you're going to invest that wisely and you're going to want to care about where your money goes. 100%. And if you go into my program, it's $5,000 up front. Now I know you're in. Now I know you're in.
Do you have like a set number of clients you take at once, or is this like open, like as many?
I won't work. I used to not work more than 5 clients, but now I'll do 8. Okay. Yeah, I'm comfortable with 8. So that's about 8 hours of the day, for example. But not all at the same time. So they'll have like overlap and stuff like that, because I keep it light. I keep it tight because I want to know like your dog's name. I want to know your wife's name, how your relationship is. I want to know everything about you. And if I have too many clients, then now you're just another number. And now I'm no better than some of these treatment centers that just take everybody and just don't really try that hard,
This is a much more personal approach. I like that. So have you ever had like any scares? Cause like when people are like into drugs and alcohol, like I know that people can often like kind of get to the point where they really get depressed and like they consider like suicide or like what do you do if like, have you ever encountered a situation like that or like you
Yeah.
had to like,
Yeah. I'm wondering if I should say this.
well, it's,
I
if you,
think
if
you'll
you
be
don't
all
want to,
right.
it's okay.
No, it'll be. So I had a client call me one time, and he asked me if I could hear that noise, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I heard chattering, and he had a shotgun barrel in his mouth, and he told me what it was, and I was like, "Fuck." So I'm on the phone with him while simultaneously trying to get a hold of 911. So I got but I can't do it simultaneously. So I'm texting his emergency contact while I'm talking to him. Like, this is what's happening. He needs to call the police. And he has a gun and it's loaded. So don't kill him when you kick the door down. Like, he's not going to shoot you. He wants to shoot himself, But like the cops don't know that. So now I'm like, is the cops going to kick the door down and kill him, or is he going to kill himself? And I'm trying to navigate this whole thing. And he's telling me, he's like, I'm never gonna, he relapsed bad. And he's like, I'm never gonna kick this thing. This is it. This is my only way out. And I'm like, dude, you called me for a reason. If you wanted to kill yourself, you would do it. You're worth it, right? So I won't get into exactly what I was saying, but basically just convinced him to at least put the gun down and talk to me, because I can't understand what you're saying. And then I said, just in case you snap, take the shell out of your shotgun, all of them, please, just in case there was more, and put them somewhere, and confirm that you've done it. And he's like, I did. I'm like, okay, cool. Now you let me relax, and now I can text. It's out of the gun. The gun is on the floor. He's not going to have it in his hand when you come in there. And then I waited and kept him on the phone about 45 minutes, and then I heard the cops kick the door in, and they got him. And thankfully, he didn't point the gun at them. It wasn't loaded. His gun was legal, all that kind of stuff. So he ended up just doing some, call it mental health stuff. So that was probably the scariest moment of my career for sobriety coaching. And it just goes to show how crazy addiction is. You really don't believe you can get out of it at times. Lots of times. My biggest thing, like suicide for me, was when my family went to Hawaii, and I waited for them to go on this trip because I was going to kill myself. Because like I said, I was looking at the moon, and I'm like, I could jump to the moon before I can get sober. And in my head, in my addict brain, I'm like thinking I'm being a good guy by waiting for them to all be in paradise all together to listen to the news that I've killed myself, because I'm like, it'll be less impactful, it'll be better for them, which is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
That's the way my brain worked back then. I was hijacked by the devil. As you don't have your own brain when you're an addict, and that's not an excuse for addicts' behaviors, but it is an explanation as to why they act the way they act, because you got this chemical rolling around in your head, man. It's not even you. So I waited for them to go to Hawaii, and then I was gonna kill myself, and I did ultimately end up trying. I was too much of a pussy to jump off somewhere. So I decided to try to OD, and it didn't work. I had got a vision. My vision went, and I used to get super paranoid, and I would sit in this one corner of my apartment thinking that like the cops were gonna bust the door down, or some dealer or something like that. And I saw a light come out of that corner, which is Jesus or my guardian angel. And the shaking stopped, and then I just calmed down. And then the next day I'm like, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this. And my sister called me, and she's from Hawaii. She's like, I wish you were here. My dad called me. I contemplated trying it again, my buddy he had handguns, and I'm like, I'm going to try this thing. And he knew what I was trying to do. So he's like, get the fuck out of here, man. You're not getting near my safe. But my sister called me. My dad called me. I wanted my dad to get mad at me and be like, fuck you, man. You're supposed to be on this vacation. But he didn't. He was just very accepting and like, okay, man, I'll help you get better. And that was at that moment, that's when I got 1% encouragement to try to get better. And that's kind of where it started. But, you know, what you were asking is people struggling with relapses and suicides and stuff. It's the answer is yeah. Like it's a common theme in addiction to want to kill yourself because it does feel impossible to get better.
Thank God that, well, not thank God, but I'm glad that you were able to pull through that.
Yeah.
And the other gentlemen as well, because we lose too many, especially men, like mental health, like it's a big problem.
Yeah.
That's so deep, man. I'm glad. So religion pulled you through that. You're religious, you were saying? Like,
yeah. So I came back to Catholicism later on. At that time, I just thought it was like some spirit or something like that. Now I know what it was, but I came back to Catholicism like just way later on. So religion has definitely helped me for sure. On top of that, like obviously jiu-jitsu, I talk about it quite often, and it can sound pretty culty, but it's just a fact that if you do things that are really, really hard and you get through it and you get better at a skill, and that skill also demands the big three, dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins, you're going to feel better. And on top of that, you have a community. You and I were talking about, you have to have super thick skin to be in our gym. But at the same time, if you get in trouble, they're all going to be there for you. Like if we're, at a mall and somebody jumps you and there's guys from our gym, they're going to fucking back you up to the death.
It's true. And like, that's where I met you at the gym. And I just remember having these deep conversations with you. I was like, man, you're such a fascinating guy. And I've met I know jiu-jitsu's been super successful in helping people like get something, to be part of that community, to have that. You were just talking about the dopamine, serotonin. It's physical. It's like playing chess with your body.
Yeah.
It's been so helpful. And do you recommend like your clients like find an activity that they can get into? Like if it's like computer programming or like jiu-jitsu or play a sport?
Yeah, it's actually a task. I consider it a task. So all tasks you have to do, and I consider it a task. So you have to find a hobby at minimum, but preferably you find some sort of physical activity. So we have something called anchoring in the program. So every single day, no matter what, even if it's chest day, you drop down, do 3 sets of push-ups to failure every day, no matter what. And if your shoulder hurts or your pec hurts or whatever, you do squats. Something to failure. So you're going to earn the big three, but you're also going to see what your mind's made out of. And everyone thinks that they give it their all and they do like 20 reps and then by the end of it, they're doing 50, 60. The average weight loss for my clients is about 38 pounds in 90 days. So you cut out all that liquor. With the liquor, you're eating like shit typically. So, there's that. On top of anchoring, go to CrossFit, go to Muay Thai, go to boxing, go to martial arts. I really push combative sports because you have this sense of community, but you can also get that, like, there's nothing like it. Yeah. You could bench press all you want. You could do pull-ups all you want, but there's nothing like trying to get a human body off of you or, get out of a choke or get someone in a choke. You submit somebody for the first time, you're fucking in, dude,
Yeah. It's so true. So it really captured you because like I see how dedicated you are, and people who have come back who've had like these addictions, they become so good at these things. Like Joe Rogan talks about it all the time. There's like this one guy he's talking about who was like a rock star or whatever, and he got super into jiu-jitsu. He was like, kind of out of shape and fat.
Yeah. Anthony Bourdain you're talking about.
Is that, okay, that's who it is.
The chef. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought it was a rock star. Thanks for pulling through there.
All good. Yeah.
But it's just good to hear, and I'm glad that you're helping all these people, man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
So if someone's looking to get a hold of you, where do they find you? Like, do you like social media, website?
Social media is the easiest. So Instagram, so it's Mr.Zorzetto. That's what I'm on the most. I read every single message. I'll eventually get to it. Like there's that request box on Sundays. I go through it because I like to compartmentalize, but I read every single message. That's the best way to reach out to me. I have a website, thepossibleprinciple.com. It actually might be thepossibleprincipleacademy.com. Try them both. But there's links in there to do compatibility calls and things like that. And again, I'll say, like, try AA. Go to it. Go to AA, go to CA, go to NA. That's Cocaine Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, and Alcoholics Anonymous, Alcoholic Anonymous. Yeah, my program couples nicely with them as well. If you are in a rehab facility and you're about to graduate, my program is a really good insurance policy to keep you sober and just to keep you accountable for another 90 days. The longer somebody can help you out, the better, but eventually you're going to have to walk that line on your own. And my program is really good at just kind of, if you compare it to curling, I have the rock, and then eventually I'm going to let go, and then it's up to you to get where you need to get to.
You're just given the tools and everyone can do what they
Yeah.
want and build the house. And I always find, like, if say like you get like a coach, sometimes it's best, and in my opinion, it is best to have someone who's been there because they know what you're going through.
Yeah.
So you not only have the tools, you can help guide people. You've been there, done that.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing to see where you come today, be so successful. And I know you just had a company that you're involved with, and now you've had successful companies, like you're running this program.
Yeah.
You're a big influence for people to do good. It's just amazing to see, man. And really want to thank you for your time. I appreciate you being here. Hopefully get you back in another day. We can
100%,
kind of talk some
anytime,
more
man.
stories.
I love doing this stuff.
Oh man, I love seeing your Instagram. Like you're a person I really wanted to interview because I just love where you've come from. I love those comeback stories, just redemption and just pulling through.
Yeah.
Everybody please tune into Spare Bedrooms podcast studio, Prime Joe time, Spare Bedroom studio, sorry. Look Anthony up. He's a fantastic man. He's very dedicated. If you need help and need to get better, he's the guy to go to. Please like and subscribe, share with your friends. Tune in again. Can't wait to hear you all again. Can't wait to see you again, brother. See you at the gym.
So I see you at the gym, man.
Yeah.
You always kick my ass though, but still good to see you.
I don't think so.